Week three's here, so we gotta do an NFL Week 3 tier list. So to kick things off, we're gonna go ahead and do the game that happened yesterday with the Niners and Giants, and I'm gonna go ahead and throw the Niners and Super Bowl contenders. They're probably the most complete team in the NFL right now. They look amazing. The Giants helped them out for sure, but they've played some pretty decent competition. I believe they've had two division games. The Seahawks and Rams both on the road, by the way. So they opened the season with two division games on the road. Then they beat the Giants at home, pretty dominant fashion as well. It might have taken them a little bit to kickstart everything, get everything going, oiled up on the offensive side of the ball. But once they got it going, they got it going. So you got to give them credit there. And we'll move on to their opponents, the Giants. I'm sorry, guys. You might be the worst 1-1 team in the league. And the one game you did have, you ended up going down 0-24 and then coming back on the Cardinals, who are apparently tanking for Caleb Williams, but I don't even know what's happening there. They seem to be actually pretty good. Josh Dobbs might be him. I don't know. And we got the Cowboys up next. Super Bowl contenders for sure. They did just lose Trayvon Diggs yesterday, but 40-0 on the road, opening game, Sunday Night Football against a division rival. That is nothing to take lightly. They made an absolute statement that game, and I cannot wait for Week 5 Sunday Night Football, Niners Cowboys. Also, it's my team, if you could tell. This is not biased. It might be our year. It might not be. We will see. But anyway, moving on to the Bills. Playoff contenders for sure. As of right now, this could obviously change week to week. It's early on still. Things probably will change week to week. Until we get further down the season, things are more set in stone. And it'll obviously be harder to move up and move down my tier list. But the Bills, Josh Allen had a shaky week 1. So shaky that he lost to the Jets and Zach Wilson. Ended up throwing 3 interceptions, turning the ball over once, fumbling it once. Not a great game, but boy, did he make up for it against the Raiders. Now, if we get that Josh Allen every week and he can keep the ball safe and just put up numbers, which that offense absolutely can, and they have a solid defense as well, I would not be surprised to see them get past that hump that they've been in and advance past the AFC Championship into the Super Bowl. Would not be surprised at all. Look at the Bengals. Shaky start again, 0-2. Where have we seen this before? That's right. Probably last year. And they ended up making the playoffs. They're saying if you go down 0-3 to start your season, the regular season, that there's a 1% chance to make the playoffs. But if there's any team that can do it, and that has experience going down 0-2 to start the season, it would be the Bengals. Now, do I think they can do it again? I don't know. That's yet to be seen. This is a Joe Burrow that has a calf injury right now. They really should sit him. I don't know what they're going to do. I hope they do make the smart decision and sit him Monday night for the Rams game. That's one you can lose. It's not a division game. It's not even an AFC game. So that's one you can actually afford to lose. They probably should have sat him earlier on, but just do the smart thing, sit him, and give him a chance. That'd be pretpretty sick if they go down 0-3 or 0-4, and then they actually do end up making the playoffs. That'd be a really cool story throughout the season. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I think they've earned it so far and put them in playoff contenders. Moving on to the mega trash, terrible Justin Fields-led Chicago Bears. I'm sorry, they've given you tools, Justin Fields. And all you're giving is excuses. You're saying that it's the coach's fault. Now, I understand what he's saying. He didn't actually say that. That's a little bit taken out of context, misconstrued. But essentially, you're saying that you can't handle the information they're giving you and what they're telling you to do in between plays. And if you can't handle that, every quarterback goes through this. I'm not a quarterback. I'm not claiming to know more than they know. But I do have a pretty good feeling you're not the only quarterback that's being fed information. And the same amount of information is probably the other rookies, and you're not even a rookie, but the other quarterbacks in the league. So no more Mr. Nice Guy. Time for you to show up, man. I think you can. I hope you can. You got legs for days. You could throw the ball. I just want to see you. I want to see you merge those two things, man. What happened to the college Justin Fields? I want to see that guy. You could beat that guy still. Just don't let it be too late. Don't have a terrible season and get dropped, and then we never hear from you again. I want you to succeed, man. Then we got the Cardinals. I don't know what to make of this team. I touched on it earlier. They gave the Washington Commanders a fight for their lives. Same with the Giants. They went up 24-0 against the Giants in the first half of the game. How do you do that but you're supposed to be the worst team in the league. I don't know. Josh Dobbs, he might be a guy. He might be. I don't know for sure. We'll find out, but for now, I'm putting them in bad. They might be, besides the Bengals, the best 0-2 team. We'll get back to that, actually. Certainly not this team, though. The Broncos, woo, baby. Maybe they're tanking for Caleb Williams. Maybe that's Sean Payton's genius idea. I have no idea. Sean Payton did say, though, if they don't make the playoffs, he's going to consider this a failed season. Well, Sean Payton, you're 0-2. And the first game you lost against the Raiders looked pretty similar to how they were losing last year. And you blamed last year on the head coach. So you better win a game or it's not looking good for you, man. Same for you, Russell Wilson. You've not been playing terribly. I'll give you that. You've not been playing terribly. But you did give up a pretty large lead over the Commanders. I think it was like 21-3 or something in that ballpark. You give up the lead. You almost had a crazy overtime win. Or you almost had a crazy win to take it to overtime. But you couldn't convert the second down or the 2-point conversion. I do agree it was a holding. It was a pass interference. But still, you shouldn't have been in that situation to begin with. I'm putting you guys in bad. Bad. And by the way, if you're in the same tier, the same list, I'm not really going to bother going through and like ordering each individual team in that tier list category. I'm just going to go ahead and like everyone's in one thing, and we're just going to call it like that. Look at the Browns. You beat the Bengals pretty bad, 24-3. So it wouldn't be fair for me to put you in bad or trash, mega trash. Sorry. Thing is, though, you looked terrible against the Steelers. The Steelers didn't look great either, but you did end up losing to them thanks to the Steelers' defense. But you're lucky you have a decent defense as well, because Deshaun Watson, I think he's washed. I don't think he'll ever get back to where he was in Texas. I just don't think it's in him anymore, unfortunately. Despite the allegations, all that stuff going on, you know, I want quarterbacks to succeed. I want all the players to succeed. I just don't think he's going to. So even though you won your game 24-3 against the Bengals opening week, week 1, I can't put you in to just miss the playoffs. I think you're on a bad path, man. Especially losing Nick Chubb. I think you guys are on a bad path. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let him bake. Let him bake. Baker Mayfield, my guy. I think they're making the playoffs. I think they win the NFC South. Now, you know, I know Saints are 2-0 as well. You know, oh no, sorry, not the Saints. I know the Saints and the Falcons are both 2-0. Ooh, man, we'll come back to that later. I do think though, the Bucs are my pick to win the NFC South. I don't know. He's playing good, man. Get your weight up, little boy. There's not much I can say there, you know. I think Zach Evans is staying. I believe that's his name. The wide receiver, the one with like 7,000 yard receptions. The one with 7,000 Thousand Island dressing. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. I think he's staying. I don't think he's leaving anymore. I know he wanted to leave, but if Baker's playing like this, I don't know why you'd want to leave. Decent defense, apparently decent offense. I'm excited to see what they do. I think they beat the Eagles this week. Probably not. I have my money on the Eagles in my parlay, but I actually think the Bucs at home could upset them. Moving on to the Chargers, 0-2 to start the year. I don't think this is a Bengals 2022 story. I don't think this is a part 2. I think this is you guys are just going to miss the playoffs. I think they will get the ball rolling. They will get some wins just because Justin Herbert is that good, and they have some really good players on defense and offense. It's not just Justin Herbert. They've got a really good team. And they made the playoffs last year, and they should have advanced to the conference round. Not the conference round, to the divisional round. But they didn't. I don't know why. I don't know how they lost that game to the Jags. Honestly, it'll be a mystery forever to me. But I don't know if Kellen Moore is helping you guys out. That overtime loss to the Titans last week, you know, you win the coin toss. You guys had a perfect chance to win that game. Like they handed it to you on a silver platter. Yeah, Justin Herbert, overtime, new offensive coordinator. against the Titans. Show us what you got. And then Kellen Moore calls 3 deep pass plays. I don't know about that. You go 3 and out in overtime. I don't know about that. And you ended up losing. So you're down 0-2. You play the 0-2 Vikings this week. I have no idea what's going to happen there. All I got to say is both of these teams are in a must-win situation. Probably the Chargers more so than the Vikings, considering Justin Herbert just got paid and is a top 3 paid NFL player in the league of all time, let alone right now. And Kirk Cousins hasn't signed a new deal with the Vikings. So I think Chargers need to win more, but both those teams need that win desperately. And we get the Chiefs, the 1-1 Chiefs. Shaky win against the Jags, followed by that, weird game against the Lions that you somehow lost by 1 point without Chris Jones or Travis Kelce. I'm going to put you in Super Bowl contenders just because it would be disrespectful not to, considering Patrick Mahomes has led that team to the AFC Championship 5 years in a row. I'm going to put you in contenders. But if it keeps going down the way it's going, I'm going to have to drop you in playoff contenders because, that Jags win was shaky as could be. Moving on to the Colts. I think Anthony Richardson's pretty good. I think he's pretty good. And I live in Indiana, so they're like my secondary team after the Cowboys. I watch the Colts games as long as they're on at different times, which actually they usually are because they're not very good. So they play at noon a lot of the times, and the Cowboys almost never play at noon. It's always 3 o'clock games or primetime games. So I always get to watch both of them pretty much. And he's looked good. He has gotten hurt in both games, which is cause for concern. I do understand that. And I think he's missed. I don't know if he missed any time in the first game, week 1. He might have missed a quarter or two, but he did miss a whole second half of the week 2 game. And I think he's still in concussion protocol. He hasn't practiced. It's Friday. They play Sunday, and they have Gardner Minshew, I'm pretty sure as of right now, the starter for Sunday. So I hope he learns how to run the ball safely and how to take care of his body and protect himself, because he has a lot of potential. Out of these 3 rookies, I think he could be the best one. I think he would be the best right now in terms of stats and just overall potential. But unfortunately, he's been taken out of the games early twice now. And CJ Stroud does lead the rookies, the rookie QBs at least, and stats. So put them in adjustments to playoffs. I think they win 7 games, which is pretty good if they can win 7 games coming up from their 4-win season last year. When we had the frisky Commanders. Commanders 2-0. 3 2-0 teams in 2 divisions in the NFC. Saints, Falcons, Bucks, Eagles, Cowboys, Commanders. That's crazy. NFC might be stacked this year. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I have you guys at just missed the playoffs. Ooh, you know what? Hot take, playoff contenders. Because I don't think they're going to go to the Super Bowl. I don't think they're going to go to the NFC Championship, but I do think they will make it to the divisional round and lose. Much how it played out last year in the NFC East with the Cowboys, Eagles, and Giants going to the playoffs. I think the NFC, since it's so weak, typically, this year it's looking pretty good, but typically since it's so weak, I think we could get a 3 teams from the NFC East to advance to the playoffs again. And instead of the Giants, I can see being the Commanders pretty easily this year. As long as they keep playing the way they're playing. They play the Bills this week. It'll really show where they're at in terms of his overall ability. Hopefully, it's a home game for them as well. I'm low-key rooting for them, even though they're in my division. I just think it'd be funny if they beat the Bills. If the Bills lost to the Commanders and the Jets. And the Dolphins, man, how Tua's been playing so far. I put him in Super Bowl contenders. He's playing at an MVP caliber right now. He's almost got 800 yards in 2 games. Leads the league by far in yards. Only has 1 pick, I'm pretty sure. And he's played some pretty tough teams, too. He's played the Chargers. I know they're 0-. Okay, hold on. Let me just say. The 2 teams they've played are 0-2 right now. But I think they're really good 0-2 teams. The Patriots, I think, might be the best 0-2 team, in my opinion, just because of the level of competition they've played and how they've come out and lost in pretty good fashion. And then you have the Chargers, obviously. So Dolphins, man, I don't know how you stop Tyreek and Waddle, man. I just don't know how you do it. And Tua, as long as he could stay healthy, and he's only taken 1 sack this year. As long as he could stay healthy, man. Whew. Watch out for the Dolphins. My surprise Super Bowl pick, I'll let you guys in on a little secret. Dolphins Cowboys. That's my Super Bowl pick this year. We'll see what happens. And then we got the Eagles. Obviously, 2-0 team. I have to respect that, and I have to put them in Super Bowl contenders, even though I want to put them in playoff contenders the way they've been playing. They're looking a little shaky, kind of how the Chiefs are, honestly, to be honest with you guys. Chiefs and the Eagles haven't looked great. Eagles have won both their games, though, so I can't knock them for that. Like, you're doing what you're supposed to do. You're winning games, which is what they did last year when they ended up going like 8-0 or 9-0 until they met the Commanders. So can't knock them for that. They're doing everything they need to. But if they continue to play and, barely scrape by some wins, I'm going to have to knock them down a peg, unfortunately. But as of right now, they're looking pretty good, looking pretty solid. They'd be at the top of the playoff contenders. I'll say that. If I knocked them down, they would be at the top. They would be better than any of these other teams right now. So no disrespect towards them at all, even though I'm a Cowboys fan. We got the Falcons, 2-0 Falcons. Bijan Robinson. Their quarterback hasn't really had to do much. I'm blanking on Desmond Ridder. He hasn't had to do much. You just hand that ball off. You get two boys, two running backs. I think they split the running back play. But man, Bijan Robinson, I've seen those highlights. They look crazy. I don't think they make the playoffs, but I could see them making the playoffs. I just think the Bucs are a better team than them, and I don't see two teams from that division going to the playoffs. So I'm going to put them in just miss the playoffs. But I do think they're better than. I feel like this is like disrespectful to the Falcons and Chargers to have the Colts here. But I really think the Colts could be a surprise team this year. Don't think too much about that. But solid defense, very exciting offense. Probably going to have offensive rookie of the year and Bijan Robinson on that team. So keep an eye out for them. I think they could make the playoffs. I just don't know for sure. We'll see. We have the Jags. I'm going to put you man, they play the Texans this week, so we're not going to see much out of them. I will put them at playoff contenders just because of that. Oh, this is tough. They lost to the Chiefs. And they beat the Colts, so there's not a lot to go off of. And they play the Texans this week. They're not really playing the best teams, and they did hang around with the Chiefs, but they scored single-digit points. I don't know how many they scored for sure, but they didn't score a bunch. So apparently their offense in the red zone. I didn't watch that game, but the red zone offense was not great. I'm gonna put you guys in just miss the playoffs because I just don't see it right now. I don't see you guys making the playoffs with the way you're playing. And the Colts kept that game competitive, by the way. That was Anthony Richardson first game, and they kept it competitive. They just don't have a great defense, and their offense doesn't seem to be clicking, at least against good opponents. And the Chiefs have a good defense. So if they can obviously they beat the Colts, and they don't have a great defense. So if they're going to look that poorly against a good defense, I just don't know if they're going to make the playoffs this year. I just don't see it happening. But they'll probably win that division. So I got to go back. I'm sorry. You're seeing me in real time think this through. They're probably going to win that division. So I'm going to have to go with playoff contenders, even though I think they get balanced divisional round. New York Jets, you're bad. And the only reason you're not trash is because of your defense. Zach Wilson's not good. You should not have won that game against Josh Allen and the Bills. The only reason you won is because of your defense and the 4 turnovers that they had. You were doing absolutely nothing that game. If anything, Breece Hall was the reason that you guys, on offense were even looking competent. So I can't move you. Can't move you to trash because of your defense, but I'm definitely not moving you above this. You're bad. Guys, get a new quarterback, please. I've heard people talk about bringing Kirk Cousins over since he's not re-signed a new contract with the Vikings. Please do that. Please. Take it. You guys could actually do something with that guy. He could be your guy until he retires, Well, until Aaron Rodgers comes back, if he decides to play again. Then we have the Detroit Lions coming in hot. I don't know if I buy into the hype anymore. I think Three of those, well, the Lions are the Vikings and Bears are 0-2. Lions and Packers are 1-1. It's anyone's ball game over there. Anyone's ball game. I'll put you at. I kind of like the Packers a little bit more right now. I want to put you at just missed the playoffs. It's no disrespect, guys. No disrespect to the Lions fans out there. I just think the Packers look better. Jordan Love looks really good. Their offense probably won't put up as many points as the Lions this year, but their offense has been playing very well. And Jordan Love is looking really good. And I think they have a better defense. So I'm going to go ahead and put the Packers and playoff contenders. I think they win the division now after seeing what I've seen for a couple weeks. Originally, I thought it was the Lions, and it still could be. It's very early doors, or very early days. Anything can happen. But as of right now, I have the Packers with the slight edge over the Lions. Jordan Love surprised me, and that defense is better. So, Panthers, trash. Panthers are trash. Bryce Hall is already. Is his name Bryce Hall? What's his name? Bryce Young. Oh my God, Bryce Hall. Jesus Christ. I just realized what that name is. I was so confused for a second. I was thinking Breece Hall and Bryce Young. Bryce Young is already hurt 2 to 3 weeks with an ankle injury. Andy Dalton is starting on Sunday, or starting on Monday. They play Sunday? I don't know if they play Sunday or Monday. Probably Sunday since they just played Monday. But yeah, Andy Dalton starting. And to be honest, it's kind of telling that I feel like they have a better chance of winning that game with Andy Dalton in there than Bryce Hall. So, than Bryce Young. So to be honest with you guys, they got to go in trash. For no other reason than you already got your number one draft pick hurt. Like you bought a new toy and you broke it. And I'm not saying it's because of his weight or his size or anything like that. I'm just saying they have nobody on that offensive line to help protect him. He's got no protection. And to be honest, kind of doesn't have anybody to throw it to either. You gave away your two best players last year, and especially Christian McCaffrey. You guys really just fisted that man when you drafted him there. And I know that's usually how it goes. You get number one draft pick for a reason. You usually pick a quarterback if you don't have one, and if your team's really bad and they're supposed to pull you out of the hole, you dug yourselves in, kind of like Joe Burrow did with the Bengals when he came there after a 2-win season and took him to back-to-back AFC Championship games three years later, you know? But you put him in a bad situation. He's in a bad division, and that team looks this bad. So, I don't know. You're in mega trash. Patriots, I think you're the best 0-2 team, to be honest. I do. I'm going to put you in just missed the playoffs, but I think you're the best 0-2 team. You've looked really good, I think, really competent. I'm not going to say really good. You've looked super competent against the Eagles and the Dolphins, who almost everybody has as Super Bowl contenders this year. So, Dolphins are a great defense. Eagles are a great defense. Dolphins are a great offense. And Mac Jones has looked pretty freaking good after the first quarter. He's had terrible first quarter stats, but the rest of the game, he finds a way to come back, bring it in close, and just keep you on the edge of your seat. If they toe dragged against the Eagles on that last drive, if that receiver had toe dragged, man, it would have been something beautiful. And if they would have got that lateral, they've had some crazy endings to their games this year, and it's only been 2 games in. So I think they're the best 0-2 team. Raiders, I'm gonna put you mid. Not a lot to say about the Raiders. You beat a sorry Broncos team, and you got blown out by the Bills. You're not making the playoffs. You might not finish last in that division because of the Broncos, but not a lot to say here. I don't know why you gave up Derek Carr just to bring in Jimmy G. They're like the same person, except Derek Carr's better and not as injury prone. So I don't know. Explain that to me. Make it make sense. Los Angeles Rams 1-1. Surprisingly, are they 1-1? They are 1-1. They freaking blew out the Seahawks pretty much. I'm gonna put you at just missed the playoffs. I think a lot of people were sleeping on the Rams before this year, including me. I had them at the bottom of that division, and I think a lot of people did too. Well, not the bottom. The Cardinals are in that division as well, but I had them like neck and neck, like Cardinals and Rams fighting over who's going to end at the bottom of that division. They just looked good. They looked good. They kept it close, kept it within 7 of the Niners game. Picked the field goal that didn't make any sense other than to screw everybody out of their out of the Niners to cover the spread. So that was awesome. Love them for that. And yeah, I think they'll just barely miss the playoffs. Really good team. They could make the playoffs too. They do have to play the Niners again. That's a guaranteed loss probably. But keeping it within 7 at home against the Niners, probably arguably the best team in the NFC. You know, you guys have done well. A blowout and a respectable loss. Not much else you can ask for. They might make the playoffs. I have no idea. We have the Ravens, put you in playoff contenders. Even though you've got smacked up, a lot of injuries, lost your running back, lost somehow, you've lost a freaking old man OBJ already. Lamar Jackson looked pretty shaky week 1. They beat a bad Texans team, but then they went and beat the Bengals, and Joe Burrow looked a lot better than he did week 1. So if we're going to respect the Browns for beating the Bengals, then we got to respect the Ravens for beating a better version of the Bengals, which I believe was week 2 Bengals. So yeah, a lot of injuries, but playoff contenders as of right now. Not going to disrespect the 2-0 team by putting them in just miss the playoffs unless you're the Falcons. I forgot to put them down there. So and coming back to that whole disrespecting people that are 2-0, I'm going to put the Saints and just miss the playoffs. Just so we're clear, I actually think the Falcons and the Saints both have a pretty solid chance of making the playoffs. So I am going to put them, I know I said I wasn't doing this, but I am going to kind of put them towards the top of this category because I think they're better than these teams. Maybe not the Lions, probably put them down here too, but I think there is a gap between these 3 and then these 4 right here. Just for the fact that it's an easy division, these 2 and this one, and these 3 Jags are going to win that division. No, here's the real reason. This is the AFC. This is the NFC. AFC is a hard division, so I just don't see them making the playoffs. But these 3 teams, since the NFC is so open, I could see either one of them making the playoffs. Derek Carr's looked decent with the Saints. They didn't look very good against the Panthers, actually, to be honest with you. And they probably only beat them because they were the Panthers. If they were any other team, I don't know how that game would have gone. But I think just miss the playoffs or somewhere in the middle. Make the playoffs, exit out division round, or just miss the playoffs. Wherever you want to put that. Seahawks, I'm going to put it mid right now. Am I? Yeah, I'm going to put you at mid. You beat the Lions. We don't know what the Lions are yet. They had a lot of hype coming into the season, but I don't know. I don't know what the Lions are, so I don't know what the Seahawks are. They beat them in overtime, and they got blown out by the Rams, who everyone thought was going to be bad. So as of right now, I really have no idea to tell. I have no way of telling how good they're going to be or how bad they're going to be. So mid for you guys. Steelers, bad. As of right now, bad. You only won that game against the Browns because of your defense. And week 1, you got smacked up, brutalized, bodied at home against the Niners. Oh, I said the Niners had 2 division games. They didn't play the Seahawks. They played the Steelers. I forgot about that. I probably had people yelling at me because of that. But anyway, yeah, Steelers. You're bad. Right now, you're bad. I think Kenny Pickett could be good, and I think the Pickett to Pickens connection could be a thing that we see moving forward. But as of right now, it's just not there. And you need to step up. That team needs to step up. That defense is carrying you so hard right now. It is not funny. TJ Watt, you deserve better, man. Come home. Come to the Cowboys. No, but seriously, I think they could be something. It's just right now they're not showing it. And the rankings have to be true to the year. We're not going off last year. Texans, you're bad, but you're not that bad. I almost put you in mid. I'm thinking. I'll put you in mid. I can't put you in mid. I'll put you down here. You're 0-2. I can't put you up here with these guys. They've won a game. I think it would be disrespectful. But CJ Stroud's looked good. He's had decent stats. I actually want to see his passing yards, because he's actually had pretty good ones so far in the NFL. Yeah, he has 626 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. He's looked pretty solid. He's lost respectable wins, I would say. The Colts, I do think if Gardner Minshew hadn't come in and Anthony Richardson would have stayed healthy, 2 big ifs, but if he would have stayed healthy and played that game, I think they would have got blown out. But, you know, to lose to them and to lose to the Ravens, a healthy Ravens week 1, you know, they've looked good. He's probably the best looking rookie QB out there right now. So not much to complain about, but yeah, you're bad right now, but I could definitely see you guys picking up some wins, being better than last year. Hopefully not enough wins to where you can't draft. I mean, you're going to draft good regardless, but you need to get some CJ Stroud, some protection in that O-line. But once you do that, I mean, he might ball out. He's looking pretty good, like I said. So we got the Titans. I'll put them at mid. They beat the Chargers in overtime at home. I don't think anyone thought they were going to. I didn't think they were going to. This is the one game that messed up my parlay. They lost me money. Well, I guess the Chargers lost me money, but they were a reason to. They were a factor, and it sucks, and I hate them. But they played decent. They have Derrick Henry. Pretty much, they just played good football, decent football, nothing flashy, nothing crazy. They beat a decent team, or what everyone thought was going to be a decent team. I know this looks weird to have the 0-2 Chargers above them, but I think come the end of the season, the Chargers will be better than them. It's just, this is difficult. No, I'm not. This is not solely off numbers. This has to be, I'm doing this with my heart. This is what I think. I know I said as of right now, but the Titans are not good. They're not. They're not. Okay? They're not. I will not be swayed. This is my tier list. And then we have the Vikings. I'm putting you guys in bed. You're 0-2. You kept it respectable against the Eagles. I'll say that. Okay, I'll put you in mid. Fine. The only reason you kept it close with the Eagles. Who was the other team that you played? You lost to the Bucks week 1, which was interesting. I don't know why you lost to the Bucks. I think because Baker Mayfield, you let him bake too long, and it ended up being like 5-star gourmet food. But you're not looking good right now, or great. Your offense is good, I guess. Your defense is non-existent though, so I don't know what you expect to happen with no defense. Kirk Cousins played a heck of a primetime game though last Thursday. He put up a lot of numbers, almost 400 passing yards, like 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Really, really good game. I think people are sleeping on that performance, by the way, because they just think, oh, primetime Kirk, he lost again. But he played really well, and it wasn't really his fault. Jefferson, reset a bounce for the end zone or something, got the touchback. It was weird. Weird game. They lost by, 5 points, I think. But they kept it close with the Eagles, so that's going to bump them up to mid, keep them in mid. I think they might just miss the playoffs this year when it's all said and done. I don't see them winning that division, but maybe they do. Maybe they don't. That's the beauty of the NFC. What is it? NFC North. That division is wide open between you guys and the Packers, the Bears, and the Lions. Yeah, it's anybody's game. So guys, that was my week 3 tier list. We've got the heavy favorites for what I think to be Super Bowl contenders, and maybe possibly the Bills and Bengals bump up there as well. And then you got the rest of the jabronis down here just hanging out, chilling, fighting for spots amongst themselves, trying to make a name for themselves. Unless your name is Justin Fields and you're trying to lose your job. So, with that being said, take care, guys. I'll see you in a few days whenever I do my predictions videos for week 3.